I spent years trying to become the kind of person nobody could dislike. Looking back, that's probably the loneliest I've ever been. The strange part is that most people would have described me as friendly. I smiled a lot, I agreed with almost everything, I laughed at jokes that weren't funny, I remembered birthdays, replied instantly, and almost never said no. From the outside, I looked like someone everyone enjoyed being around. Inside, I was exhausted. I don't think anyone wakes up one morning and decides to spend their life chasing approval. It happens so slowly you barely notice it. For me, it started in school. I wasn't bullied. I wasn't invisible either. I was somewhere in the middle, which somehow felt worse. I always felt like I was one mistake away from becoming the weird kid everyone whispered about. So I became careful. If one group liked a certain type of music, suddenly I liked it too. If someone made fun of another person, I'd laugh even when it made me uncomfortable. Hey, if people wanted pizza, I wanted pizza. If everyone stayed quiet, I stayed quiet. I became incredibly good at reading rooms. The problem was I completely stopped reading myself. As I got older, people started calling me easygoing. At first, I took it as a compliment, then I realized what they actually meant. I never disagreed. I never asked for much. I never caused problems. Not because I didn't have opinions, because I was terrified that showing them would make someone leave. Whenever I met someone new, it felt like I was walking into an interview. What should I say? Should I joke more? Am I talking too much? Too little? Do they think I'm boring? Every conversation continued long after it ended. I'd replay it while brushing my teeth, while trying to sleep, while sitting on the bus. One awkward sentence could stay in my head for weeks. Then there were the texts. If someone didn't reply for 6 hours, I'd convince myself I'd ruined everything. I'd reread my last message over and over. Maybe the joke sounded rude. Maybe I used too many emojis. Maybe I should have waited before replying. My mind could create an entire disaster from a single scene. The worst part? Most of the time, they'd answer the next morning like nothing happened. But by then, I had already spent the whole night rejecting myself for them. Relationships weren't any easier. I remember dating someone who once looked at me during dinner and asked something that completely caught me off guard. "What do you actually want?" I laughed. "What do you mean?" She smiled. "No, what do you want? Not what you think I want." I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. It sounds ridiculous now, but I genuinely didn't know. I'd spent so much time adapting to everyone else that I'd stopped asking myself simple questions. Where do I want to eat? What movie do I actually want to watch? What do I believe? Who am I when nobody else is around? I didn't have answers. A few months later, we broke up. It wasn't dramatic, she just said something I'll never forget. I always felt like I was dating someone who was trying really hard to be perfect. I asked quietly, "Isn't that a good thing?" She shook her head. "No. I wanted to know the real you." That sentence stayed with me longer than the relationship did because I couldn't stop wondering, what if there wasn't a real me anymore? For years, my personality had been built around making other people comfortable. I agreed. I apologized. I adapted. I smiled. I avoided conflict like it was dangerous. The version of me everyone liked wasn't fake, but it wasn't complete either. The breaking point came on a random Friday night. A group of friends invited me out. I didn't want to go. I'd had one of those weeks where everything felt heavy, and all I wanted was to order food and watch something mindless, but I went anyway. Because saying no made me feel guilty. The whole evening felt off. Everyone laughed. Everyone talked. I kept pretending I was having fun. Around midnight, someone asked, "You good?" Without thinking, I smiled and said, "Yeah, of course." Then they immediately continued talking. Nobody questioned it. I don't blame them. Why would they? I'd spent years teaching people that my smile meant everything was fine. I got home around 1 a.m. I remember sitting on the edge of my bed without even taking my shoes off. The apartment was completely silent, and for the first time in a long time, I cried. Not because anything terrible had happened, Because I realized I couldn't remember the last time I'd been completely honest with anyone. Not my friends, not my family, not even myself. I was constantly performing, constantly adjusting, constantly wondering how to become easier to like. And somehow, I'd never felt more alone. A few days later, something incredibly small happened. A friend texted me asking if I wanted to help him move that weekend. Normally, I would have immediately said yes. Instead, I stared at my phone. I was exhausted. I had plans. For once, I wanted to protect my own time. So I typed something I'd almost never said. Sorry, I can't this weekend. I stared at the message for almost 5 minutes before pressing send. I expected disappointment, maybe even anger. Instead, he replied 30 seconds later. No worries, we'll figure something out. That was it. No guilt. No passive-aggressive comment. No friendship ending. Just no worries. It sounds stupid now, but that tiny message challenged years of beliefs. Maybe people didn't leave every time I disappointed them. Maybe healthy relationships could survive the word no. I started experimenting. Very small things. If I disagreed with someone, I said it respectfully instead of pretending. If I was tired, I admitted it. If I didn't enjoy something, I stopped forcing myself to act like I did. Something unexpected happened. A few people became more distant. At first, that terrified me. Then I realized something. Those people had only liked the version of me that never had boundaries. The people who truly cared stayed. One friend actually laughed and said, "You're way more interesting now." I asked, "Because I disagree with you?" He smiled. "No. Because now I know when you're being real." That hit me harder than he probably realized. For years, I'd believed people would only love the edited version of me. The agreeable version, the convenient version, the version that never asked for anything. But real connection doesn't happen when two perfect people meet. It happens when two real people stop pretending. I still catch myself slipping into old habits. Sometimes I still overthink a message before sending it. Sometimes I still worry someone secretly dislikes me. That voice never disappeared completely. It just stopped making every decision for me. The biggest lesson wasn't learning how to make everyone like me. It was realizing that it had never been possible. No matter how funny you are, how kind, how attractive, how successful, someone won't like you. Someone will misunderstand you. Someone will leave. And that's not proof that you failed. It's proof that you're human. I wasted years chasing universal approval because I thought it would finally make me feel safe. Instead, it made me feel invisible. Because every person who liked me liked a version of me I had carefully designed for them. The strange thing is that the moment I stopped trying so hard to be liked, I started building the deepest relationships I'd ever had. Not because more people liked me, because the people who stayed finally knew who I was. If I could go back and tell my younger self one thing, it wouldn't be, "Everyone will like you someday." I'd tell him something much simpler. You were never supposed to be everyone's favorite person. You were only supposed to be yourself. And it turns out, that was enough all along.